President of the United States.
Sorry I'm late here. That's my bad. Trying to get everything going. Let's watch this jack off be a jack off. See if he says anything good. I'm assuming no. He will not say anything. Welcome to the Stuck of the Union. I'm guest host Bubba B.
Thank you.
Oh, and now this B is talking.
Thank you all very much.
You ain't welcome.
Thank you, General.
You ain't welcome.
Thank you.
You ain't welcome, damn it.
Thank you.
God.
Thank you all very, very much. Thank you. Please. Thank you so much. Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, members of Congress and the Cabinet, Justice of the Supreme Court, my fellow Americans. Last year, COVID-19 kept us apart. This year, we're finally together again. Tonight,
Who's that lady dancing on the right-hand side? I ain't never seen her before.
tonight we meet as Democrats, Republicans, Independents, but most importantly, as Americans, with the duty to one another, to
Duty.
America, to the American people, and to the Constitution.
How y'all doing out
And
there?
an
What's up,
unwavering
Lewis? What's up,
resolve
Brandy? What's up,
That
Ducks?
freedom will always triumph over tyranny.
Except when Joe Biden's in office. Tyranny shall triumph over freedom. You take that to the bank and you cash that shit. God, this man pisses me off. Shaking.
6 days ago,
probably
Russia's
cocaine,
Vladimir
though.
Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways. But he badly miscalculated. He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over. Instead,
Keep rolling,
he met
baby.
with a wall of strength he never anticipated or imagined. He met the Ukrainian people.
To be determined. That's all I'll say on that.
From President Zelensky to every Ukrainian, their fearlessness, their courage, their determination literally inspires the world. Groups of citizens blocking tanks with their bodies. Everyone from students to retirees to teachers turned soldiers defending their homeland.
It's funny, now the left
In this
cares about
struggle,
civilians with
President
guns. Isn't
Zelensky
that
said in
funny?
his speech to the European Parliament,
Piece of
light
shit.
will win over darkness. The Ukrainian ambassador to the United States is here tonight, sitting with the First Lady. Let each of us, if you're able to stand and send an unmistakable signal to the world of Ukraine.
I like her. She's cool. I like her.
Thank
A
you,
little lady dancing in the corner.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
You are not welcome, man. Knowing Joe Biden, this isn't going to be like the longest State of the Union
She's bright,
ever.
she's strong, and she's resolved.
He's like, all right, I got to go now. Later, y'all. Who's this lady? Why is she getting hugs? Round of hugs for the boys. Who's that with the blonde hair? She looking, hey,
Yes,
what's going on? What's up?
we, the United States of America, stand with the Ukrainian people. Throughout
They
our
just
history,
sat, though. They just sat
we've
down.
learned this lesson.
They ain't standing.
When dictators do not pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos. They keep moving, and the cost, the threats to America and America to the world keeps rising.
America to the world.
That's why the NATO alliance was created, to secure peace and stability in Europe after World War II.
And we keep expanding it
United
when we
States
said we
is a
wouldn't.
member, along with 29 other nations. It matters. American diplomacy matters. American resolve matters. Putin's latest attack on Ukraine was premeditated and totally unprovoked. He rejected
This man's a
repeated
comedian
efforts
now.
at diplomacy. He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond. He thought he could divide us at home, in this chamber, in this nation. He thought he could divide us in Europe as well.
Y'all are doing that.
Putin was wrong.
Y'all are getting the divide, not him.
We are united, and that's what we did. We stayed united. We prepared extensively and carefully. We spent months building coalitions of other freedom-loving nations in Europe and the Americas, from America to the Asian and African continents, to confront Putin. Like many of you, I spent countless hours unifying our European allies.
She just jerked. She did the jerk off sign, and now she's stretching it. Ooh, and she just shoved it up the ass. You saw that? She's cool.
How we would try to falsify and justify his aggression. We countered Russia's lies with the truth, and now
we countered Russia's lies with more of our own lies.
Along with 27 members of the European Union, including France, Germany, Italy, as well as countries like the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and many others, even Switzerland, are inflicting pain on Russia and supporting the people of Ukraine.
You're poking the bear, man.
Isolated from the world more than he has ever been. Together,
you know, but if America got to go in and boss somebody around, it's okay. Listen, I ain't pro-Russia here. All I'm saying is this man is instigating. Hey, look, COVID's going on. Oh, all the COVID truths are coming out. Look over here, we got war.
Powerful economic sanctions.
That tactic is as old as the country, old as Joe Biden.
Preventing Russia's central bank from defending the Russian ruble.
Ugh.
Making Putin's $630 billion war fund worthless. We're choking Russia's access. We're choking Russia's access to technology that will sap its economic strength and weaken its military for years to come. Tonight, I say to the Russian oligarchs and the corrupt leaders who built billions of dollars off this violent regime, no more. The United States...
You know, those oligarchs ain't the one that gonna be suffering. It's the Russian people, man.
The United States...
It's getting a little somber right now. My apologies.
...is assembling a dedicated task force to go after the crimes of the Russian oligarchs. We're joining with European allies to find and seize their yachts.
She did a little finger shake. I'm assuming that means
jets.
no.
We're coming for you, ill-begotten gains. And tonight, I'm announcing that we will join our allies in closing off American airspace to all Russian flights.
Oh, shit. He's closing off the airspace. Man, you son of a bitch. Do y'all want to go to war? Do you think America
no idea what's coming.
Is instigating this shit? Do you find it that it is okay America is instigating this shit?
The Russian stock market has lost 40% of its value, and trading remains suspended. The Russian economy is reeling, and Putin alone is the one to blame. Together with our allies, we're providing support to the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom. Military assistance.
On the down low.
Economic assistance, humanitarian assistance. We're giving more than $1 billion of direct assistance to Ukraine, and will continue to aid the Ukrainian people as they defend their country and help ease their suffering.
What's up, Apple Dumpling?
But let me be clear. Our forces are not.
It's impossible for him to be clear.
And will not engage in the conflict with Russian forces in Ukraine. Our forces are not going to Europe to fight Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies in the event that Putin decides to keep moving west. For that purpose, we have mobilized American ground forces, air squadrons, ship deployments to protect NATO countries, including Poland, Romania, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. And as
damn, they gave him some kind of shot.
The United States and our allies will defend every inch of territory that is NATO territory with the full force of our collective power. Every single inch.
Joe.
And we're clear-eyed.
She's making it.
The Ukrainians are fighting back with pure courage. But the next few days, weeks, and months will be hard on them. Putin has unleashed violence and chaos. But while he may make gains on the battlefield, he'll pay a continuing high price over the long run. And
Ducks, you say sign language is fantastic, but honestly, I don't understand it, so I don't like it. What's up, Peanuts?
Energy they have. They've known 30 years
Peanuts,
of independence.
hot damn, hot diggity,
They will
100%.
not tolerate
State of
anyone
Russia
who
speech.
tries to take their country backwards. To all Americans, I'll be honest with you, as I always promised I would be. A Russian dictator of phantom
Another lie.
invading a foreign country has cost around the world. And I'm taking robust action to make sure the pain of our sanctions is targeted at the Russian economy.
Except
And that we
us
use every
buying
tool at our
gas and
disposal
Germany
to
buying
protect
gas from
American
them. That's
businesses
fine.
and
That's
consumers.
fine.
Tonight, I can announce the United States has worked with 30 other countries to release 60 million barrels of oil from reserves around the world. America will lead
We
that
were
effort,
self-sufficient on
releasing
energy,
30
you
million
dumbass
barrels
piece
our
of
own
shit.
Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And we stand ready to do more if necessary, united with our allies.
He had an
Steps will help
opportunity
gas prices here at home.
to not
But I know
make this
news about
Russian
what's
thing
happening
happen.
can seem alarming
Russia
to all
wanted to have a little
want you
truce
to
with
know
Ukraine,
we're
and this
going to be
man said
okay.
no.
We're going to be okay. When the history of this era is written, Putin's war in Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. Well, while it shouldn't,
Don't you stand up, you fools. This is like North Korea.
while it shouldn't have taken something so terrible for people around the world to see what's at stake, now everyone sees it clearly. We
The
see
rain is
unity
gone.
among leaders of nations, a more unified Europe, a more unified West. We see unity among the people who are gathering in cities and large crowds around the world, even in Russia, to demonstrate
Thank
their
you,
support
Brandy.
for the
Remember
people
to
of
always
Ukraine.
like, share, and sub. Yes,
Battle
ma'am.
between democracy and autocracies. Democracies are rising to the moment,
What's up, Steve?
and the world is clearly choosing the side of peace and security. This is the real test, and it's going to take time. So let us continue to draw inspiration from the iron will of the Ukrainian people. To our fellow Ukrainian Americans who forged the deep bond that connects our two nations, we stand with you. We stand with you. Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks.
Go ahead and
He'll
say we
never
stand
gain
with
the
you
hearts and
twice,
souls
just
of
to
the
really
Iranian
drive
people.
that home.
He'll never extinguish their love of freedom, and he will never weaken the resolve of the free world.
I don't feel any better listening to this man's speech. It's just a bunch of like air, a bunch of hot air. Hey, we are
meet tonight
awesome. It's like
in
what a
America
rock
that
concert
lived
does.
through
Like, what's up,
two of the
Ohio?
hardest
And
years
Ohio
this
goes,
nation has ever faced.
because you called out Ohio. He was just like,
Pandemic,
yeah, America kicks ass, doesn't
So
it?
many families are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to keep up with the rising cost of food, gas, housing.
This
so
isn't
much
because
more. I
the war,
understand,
you.
like many of you
Oh,
do.
man.
My dad had to leave his home in Scranton, Pennsylvania to find work. So like many of you, I grew up in a family when the price of food went up.
His dad worked
it was
at the
felt throughout
office
family.
with Michael
It had
Scott.
an impact. That's when one of the first things I did as president was fight to pass the American Rescue Plan. Because people were hurting.
One of the first things Joe Biden did as
act,
president was
did.
take a damn nap.
Few pieces of legislation have done more at a critical moment in our history to lift us out of a crisis. It fueled our efforts to vaccinate the nation and combat COVID-19.
I feel like he's
Delivered
about to
immediate
tell me
economic
some
relief
tales
to
from the
tens of
crypt
millions of
right now,
Americans.
where he's sitting there with his little
Help us
hands
food
crossed
on
and
the
his
table.
skeleton
Remember those
noggin.
long lines of cars waiting for hours just to get a box of food put in their trunk.
My hands is up here.
It cut the cost of health care insurance.
My hands is down here.
And as my dad used to say, it gave the people
My hands
just a
almost
little
crossed.
bit of breathing room. Unlike the $2 trillion tax cut passed in the previous administration that benefited the top 1% of Americans.
Go
the
ahead and
American
make a
Rescue
shot
Plan-
at Trump in there if you could.
The American Rescue
This
Plan
is a dang
helped
rocket.
working
This is
people
a
and
this is a
left no one
WWE
behind.
concert. There you go. Look at that.
Folks,
I swear to God, if they start doing
And
the
it
wave or some like Biden chant breaks out,
it worked.
I'm going to sign off. I'm going to sign off. You have my word. Or I swear, if there's a USA chance, it's not that I'm against USA chants, but I'm against people chanting USA that are a bunch of fake effers.
In fact, our economy created over 6.
She just shot herself in the head right there. That's just crazy.
Just last year, more jobs.
And how many jobs were lost because of COVID?
In the history of the United States of America. The economy grew at a rate of 5.7 last year, the strongest growth rate in 40 years. And the first step in bringing fundamental change to our economy that hasn't worked for working people in this nation for too long. For the past 40 years, we were told that tax break for those at the top and benefits would trickle down and everyone would benefit. But that trickle-down theory led to a weaker economic growth, lower wages, bigger deficits, and a widening gap between the top and everyone else in nearly a century. Look, Vice President Harris and I ran for office, and I realize we have fundamental disagreements on this.
He said that clearly this time.
The new
Vice President.
For America. Invest in America. Educate Americans. Grow the workforce. Build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because we know. Because we know. Because we know when the middle class grows, the poor have a way up and the wealthy do very well.
Every time they start clapping, for some reason, it says applesauce
bridges and airports on earth.
In the little
now,
white words.
Our infrastructure is ranked 13th in the world.
Don't know what that means, but
we won't be able to compete for the jobs of the 21st century if we don't fix it. That's why it was so important to pass the bipartisan infrastructure law. And I thank my Republican friends who joined.
I swear, they do more standing and sitting than I do at the gym. Up, down, up, down, up, down.
In history.
What were you doing? How's that Congress today, man? Got my workout and a lot of clapping, a lot of ups and downs. Oh, Biden was talking and you had to, yeah. Oh, yeah, I feel you.
We're now talking about an infrastructure decade. And look.
Yep, there you go again. Stand right back up. That's fine. You know what? Why have chairs? Let's get rid of the chairs. Y'all don't want to sit down. It's obvious. Look, it said applesauce again.
Put us on a path to win the economic competition of the 21st century.
Applesauce. I don't understand that.
The rest of the world, particularly China. I've told Xi Jinping it's never been a good bet to bet against the American people. We'll create good jobs for millions of Americans, modernizing
particularly
roads,
airports,
ports, waterways, all across America.
They didn't spell Xi Jinping right.
To withstand the devastating effects of climate change and promote environmental justice.
They did, never mind.
We'll build a national network of 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations.
We're going to build
Begin to replace the poisonous lead pipes so every child, every American has clean water to drink at home and at school.
Yeah, this is 2022, and this man's talking about, hey, we're going to have clean water.
High-speed internet for every American, rural, suburban, urban, and tribal communities. 4,000 projects have already been announced. Many of you have announced them in your districts. And tonight, I'm announcing that this year, we will start fixing over 65,000 miles of highway and 1,500.
That's not a lot of miles of highway.
And folks, when we use taxpayers' dollars to rebuild America, we're going to do it by buying America. Buy American products.
Man.
Support American jobs.
Come on, man.
The government spends about $600 billion a year to keep this country safe and secure. There's been a law on the books for almost a century to make sure taxpayers' dollars support American jobs and businesses. Every administration, Democrat and Republican, says they'll do it, but we're actually doing it. We'll buy America.
Is this him just saying that, though?
Everything from the deck of an aircraft carrier to the steel on highway guardrails is made in America from beginning to end. All of it.
Oh, he's taking the Trump thing. Oh, that's awesome. That's funny. That's real funny.
But folks,
you're a butt folks, man.
To compete for the jobs of the future, we also need a level playing field with China and other competitors. That's why it's so
We did
important
during Trump.
to pass the Bipartisan Innovation Act sitting in Congress that will make record investments in emerging technologies and American manufacturing. We used to invest almost 2% of our GDP in research and development. We don't
That's
now.
goddamn paychecks.
Yeah.
That's what that stands
It
for,
is.
GDP.
Let me give you
Sorry
an
for
example
using the
why
Lord's
it's so
name in
important
vain.
to pass. If you travel 20 miles east of Columbus, Ohio, you'll find 1,000 empty acres of land. It won't look like much, but if you stop and look closely, you'll
can see
a field
grass,
of
man.
dreams. The ground on which America's future will be built.
In Ohio,
That's
dude?
where Intel, the American company that helped build Silicon Valley, is going to build
There I
a
was.
$20 billion
in Ohio.
semiconductor mega
And I was like, this
up
is
to
the future,
8
man.
state-of-the-art factories in one place. 10,000 new jobs. And in those factories, the average job about $135,000 a year. Some of the most sophisticated
Woo!
manufacturing in the world to make computer chips
Ooh.
the size of a fingertip.
Did he say computer
The power of
shits?
the world in everyday lives.
I think he said computer
From
shits.
smartphones, technology, the internet, technology is yet to be invented. But that's just the beginning.
It's just
Intel
starting,
CEO
man.
Pat Gelsinger, who is here tonight. I don't know where Pat is. Pat, there you go. Pat, stand up.
Hey, Pat. Pat yourself on the back. Oh, that's funny, man. You're Pat. And you're patting yourself, man. Oh, that's funny, man.
Pat came to see me, and he told me they're ready to increase their investment from $20 billion to $100 billion. That would be the biggest investment in manufacturing in American history. And all they're waiting for is for you to pass this bill. So let's not wait any longer.
Come on, man. Just
Send it to
pass
my
it.
desk. I'll sign it. And we'll
Something
really
seems fishy
take
about
off in a
And
big
we're going to
way.
sneak in a lot of other stuff, man, but I'm going to sign it.
And folks,
It's fine.
Intel is not alone. There's something happening in America. Just look around and you'll see an amazing story. The rebirth of pride that comes from
He said, "You'll
stamping
see the
products
amazing
made in
story."
America.
There's only one.
Revitalization of American manufacturing. Companies are choosing to build new factories here when just a few years ago they would have gone overseas.
That's a lie.
That's what's happening.
That's a
Ford is
lie.
investing $11 billion in electric vehicles, creating 11,000 jobs across the country. GM is making the largest investment in its history, $7 billion to build electric vehicles, creating 4,000 jobs in Michigan. All told, 369,000 new manufacturing jobs were created in America last year alone.
We're about to create 300 trillion jobs,
Folks.
man. We're going to have, there's all the jobs. It's going to be 300 trillion, man. You get one, and she gets one.
Powered by people I've met like JoJo Burgess from generations of union steelworkers in Pittsburgh, who's here with us tonight. Where are you, JoJo?
There's
There you
the
go.
name.
Thanks, buddy. As Ohio Senator
You can
Sherrod
tell he's
Brown
kind of
says,
losing. He's as Ohio, like whatever injection he took is wearing off. Why is there a goddamn midget?
Sherrod Brown says it's time
Congress?
to bury the label Rust Belt.
Are you kidding me?
It's time to see
We got midgets working in the Congress. I don't like that.
Rust Belt become the
You seen some of them bills?
home of
It's taller than that, man. How can they get to the
resurgence of
top?
manufacturing. And with all the bright spots in our economy, record job growth, higher wages, too many families are struggling to keep up with their bills. Inflation is robbing them of gains they thought otherwise they would be able to feel. I get it. That's why my top priority is getting prices under control. Look, our economy roared back faster than almost anyone predicted. But the pandemic meant that businesses had a hard time hiring enough people because of the pandemic to keep up production in their factories.
I'll say it.
So you didn't have
The
people
economy never
making
had to get
those
fucked up in the
beams
first
that
place,
went
you
into buildings because they were out.
You
The
dumb
factory
old
was
bastard.
closed. The panic also disrupted the global supply chain.
Y'all panic,
Factories
people.
closed.
That's your fault.
When that happens, it takes longer to make goods and get them to the warehouses, to the stores, and prices go up.
Oh my God, look how COVID, man.
1/3 of all the inflation was because of automobile sales. There weren't enough semiconductors to make all the cars that people wanted to buy.
Is he just saying
Guess
things
what?
and hope people don't
Prices of
research it?
automobiles went way up. especially used vehicles as well. And so we have a choice.
What?
One way to fight inflation is to drive down wages and make Americans poorer. I think I have a better idea to fight inflation. Lower your costs, not your wages. And folks,
We're going to stand up. Oh, my God.
that means make more cars and semiconductors in America, more infrastructure and innovation in America, more goods moving faster and cheaper in America, more jobs where you can earn a good living in America. Instead of relying on foreign supply chains, let's make it in America. Look, economists,
Oh, my God. Guys, I have to stop streaming. A USA chant just broke out.
call this increasing the productive capacity of our economy. I call it building a better America.
I have to live to my promise.
My plan,
Guys, I got to
fight
stop
inflation
streaming.
will lower your costs and lower the deficit.
What the fuck just
17
happened?
Nobel laureates in economics said my plan will ease long-term inflationary pressures. Top business leaders, and I believe most
I
Americans
made a promise.
And here's the plan. First, cut the cost of prescription drugs.
I'm torn.
We pay more for the same drug produced by the same company
I might have to
in
go.
America than any other country in the world. Just look at insulin. 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. In Virginia, I met a 13-year-old boy, the handsome young man standing up there, Joshua Davis.
You see that fat son of a bitch up there? He's got high blood sugar.
He and his dad both have type 1 diabetes,
Woo!
which means they need insulin every single day. Insulin costs about $10 a vial to make. That's what it costs.
Trump brought insulin down, you son of a
But drug
bitch.
companies charge families like Joshua and his dad
Will you
30
all-
times that amount.
The
I spoke
will
with
you all
Joshua's
hate
mom.
me if I
Imagine what it's like to look at your
don't
child.
sign off?
who
I've
needs
made a
insulin to
promise
stay
that
healthy.
a USA chant
have
broke
no
out. I would
idea
have to
someone's
leave,
not
and
gonna be able to pay for it.
it did. I didn't think that would
What it
happen,
does to your family.
but I don't want to
What it
go
does
yet.
to your dignity.
But I don't want to be a
Look your
promise
child in
breaker
the eye.
neither.
To be the parent you expect
Stuck in the
yourself
middle.
to
We'll be live later tonight
really
too. By
mean
the
to
way,
think
Stuck
about
at Night.
That's what I think about. You know, yesterday, Joshua's here tonight, but yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday.
I know
to
it,
you, by the way.
Joshua.
For Joshua and 200,000 other young people with type 1 diabetes, let's cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month so everyone can afford it. And drug companies will do very, very well, their profit margin. While we're at it, I know we have great disagreements on this floor with this. Let's let Medicare negotiate the price of prescription drugs.
I'm literally sitting here, and I'm like,
They
you're an
already-
asshole if you don't live up to your promise.
Set the price for VA drugs. Look, the American Rescue Plan is helping millions of families with Affordable Care Act plans to save them $2,400 a year on their health premiums. Let's close the coverage gap and make these savings permanent. And second, let's cut energy costs for families, an average of $500 a year by combating climate change. Let's provide an investment tax credit to weatherize your home and your business, to be energy efficient and get a tax credit for it. Double America's clean energy production in solar, wind, and so much more. Lower the price of electric vehicles, saving another $80 a month that you're not going to have to pay at the pump. Folks, the third thing we can do to change the standard of living for hardworking folks is cut the cost of child care. Cut the
They
cost of
stand
child
up way too much.
Folks, If you live in a major city in America, you'd pay up to $14,000 a year for child care per child. I was a single dad for 5 years, raising 2 kids. I had a lot of help, though. I had a mom, a dad, a brother, and a sister that really helped. But middle class and working folks shouldn't have to pay more than 7% of their income to care for the young children. My plan would cut the cost of child care.
Brandy, you and I are on the same page. That's all I hear too. Lies.
There's a woman who left the workforce during the pandemic because they couldn't afford child care to be able to get back to work, generating economic growth. But my plan doesn't stop there. It also includes home and long-term care, more affordable housing, pre-K for 3 and 4-year-olds.
It just sounds like, again, my example of earlier when you're at a rock concert and they're like, "What's up, Michigan?" Woo, he's just saying all these cool things he wants to do, and it sounds cool.
Penny in new taxes, not a single penny.
But he ain't.
I may be wrong, but my guess is if we took a secret ballot in this floor, that we'd all agree that the present tax system ain't fair. We have to fix it. I'm not looking to punish anybody, but let's make corporations and wealthy Americans start paying their fair share.
Their fair share.
Look,
it's the same old fucking sentence.
Last year.
They're so nuanced. And I'm sorry to be so serious right now. Usually Bubba is fun.
My distinguished Congresswoman.
Or you laugh at him.
Come from
now he's just venting. It's not. This is very un-Bubba, and this is Bubba's bad.
State in America combined, and I still won 36 years in a row. The point is, even they understand they should pay just a fair share. Last year, 55 of the Fortune 500 companies earned $40 billion in profit and paid 0 in federal taxes.
Honestly, maybe you change some of the loopholes right now as opposed to raising their taxes.
We've got, and that's why
most of those people pay more than we do.
Overseas, we're able to put together, I was able to be somewhat helpful, 130 countries agree
applesauce again. I don't understand that.
So companies can't get out of paying their taxes at home by shipping jobs and factories overseas. It'll raise billions of dollars.
What about over B's or over A's?
That's why I propose closing loopholes for the very wealthy who pay a lower tax rate than a teacher and a firefighter. So that's my plan, but we have to go in more detail later. We will grow the economy, lower the cost of families. So what are we waiting for? Let's get this done. We all know we've got to make changes.
Come on, man. Let's go ahead and stand up again as they do.
Folks,
I feel like I'm in North goddamn Korea.
Confirm my nominees for the Federal Reserve.
Whoa.
Which plays a critical role in fighting inflation. My plan will not only lower costs and give families a fair shot.
They'll just keep printing money, man.
Lower the deficit.
And you'll like it.
The previous administration not only ballooned
all your money that you got in savings is going to devalue. You'll be fine.
It undermined the watchdogs, the job of those to keep pandemic relief funds being wasted. Remember we had those debates?
I remember.
Whether or not those watchdogs should be able to see every day how much money was being spent, where was it going to the right place? But in my administration, the watchdogs are back. And we're going to go after the criminals who stole billions of relief money meant for small business and millions of Americans. Tonight, I'm announcing that the Justice Department will soon name a chief prosecutor for pandemic fraud.
Really? Pandemic? You're going to find a way to stay in the zone of the pandemic? Yo, there's been stories, a lot of these companies actually giving that money back.
By the end of this year, the deficit will be down to less than half of what it was before I took office.
That isn't why...
The only president ever to cut the deficit by more than $1 trillion in a single year. Lowering your cost also meant demanding more competition. I'm a capitalist, but capitalism without competition is not capitalism. Capitalism without competition is exploitation.
It's called monopoly.
Drives up profit.
And I love being the monopoly guy, man. Let's combine
Corporations
that.
have to compete. Their profits go up and your prices go
Look,
up.
it drives
They
up
don't have to
profits,
compete.
applesauce.
Small businesses and family farmers
I
and
don't get it.
ranchers. I need not tell some of my Republican friends from those states. Guess what?
What?
You got 4 basic meat packing facilities. That's it. You play with them or you don't get to play at all. And you pay a hell
I
of a
love
lot
quid
more.
pro quos,
A
man.
hell of a lot more. because
I
you're
love
poor.
quid pro quoing,
See
dude.
what's happening with ocean carriers.
I did the quid
They're
pro
moving goods in
quo
and out of America.
over at Ukraine, man, and
During the pandemic,
they did it.
about half a dozen
The squid
less
pro crow,
foreign-owned
man.
companies raised prices by as much as 1,000% and made record profits. Tonight, I'm announcing a crackdown on those companies overcharging American businesses and consumers. And folks,
I feel like
these
I'm
Wall
here.
Street firms
Consumer
take over more
applesauce
nursing
again.
homes.
What's
quality in
with
those
this?
homes has gone down, and costs have gone up. That ends on my watch. Medicare is going to set higher standards for nursing homes and make sure your loved ones get the care they deserve and that they inspect and they will look at closely. We're also going to cut costs to keep the economy going strong and giving workers a fair shot, provide more training and apprenticeships, hire them based on skills, not just their degrees. Let's pass the Paycheck Fairness Act and paid leave. Raise
Come
the
on,
minimum
man.
wage to $15 an hour
We can do it.
and extend the child tax credit so no one has to raise a family in poverty. Let's increase Pell Grants, increase our historic support for HBCUs, and invest in what Jill, our First Lady who teaches full-time, calls America's best-kept secret, community colleges. Look, let's pass the PRO Act.
Oh,
When a
man.
majority of workers want to form a union, they should
Listen,
be
Jill,
able to be
Jill,
stopped.
I hate to be vulgar. Jill could get it.
When we invest in our work,
If I was a man of a
from
certain
the
age,
bottom up and the middle out together, we can do something we haven't done in a long
70?
time. Build a better America. For more than 2 years, COVID has impacted every decision in our lives
your fault.
and the life of this nation.
Your side's fault.
And I know you're tired, frustrated, and exhausted.
Literally, Stuck in the Middle may talk about this, but there was a letter that came out that literally talks about how to treat COVID now on the Democratic side. It's from Impact Research. Check it out. But they're like, people is tired of COVID. Tell them this is, oh boy.
Because of your resilience and the tools that we have been provided by this Congress, tonight I can say we're moving forward safely back to a more normal routine.
You stupid
We've reached a new moment
motherfucker.
in the fight against COVID-19, where severe cases are down to a level not seen since July
Not
of last
see.
year.
Did not
Just a
see
few
that
days
coming.
ago, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention issued a new mask guidelines. Under the new guidelines, most Americans and most of the country can now go mask-free.
I was born in the mask,
Based on projections,
raised in it.
based
You
on
merely
projections,
adopted it.
more of the country will reach a point
It
across
doesn't
that
matter
across the
who
next
we
couple of weeks.
are. What
Thanks
matters
to the
is our
progress we made in
plan.
the past year, COVID-19 no longer need control our lives. I know some are talking about living with COVID-19, but tonight I say that we never will just accept living with COVID-19. We'll continue to combat the
I was
virus.
born in
As we do other
COVID-19,
diseases.
raised in it.
And because this virus mutates
You
and
merely
spreads,
adopted
we have to stay on
COVID-19.
guard. And here are 4 common sense steps as we move forward safely, in my view. First, stay protected with vaccines and treatments. We know how incredibly effective vaccines are.
No, we don't.
If you're vaccinated,
Well, I mean, we do, but we know
You have
how
the highest
vaccines
degree
do
of
not
protection.
help spread,
We'll never
and
give up on vaccinating
their
our
their efficacy
Now, I know
done
parents
wears
with kids
off.
Under 5 are eager to see their
quickly.
vaccines authorized for their children.
And the
Scientists are working
CDC ain't
hard to get
releasing
that
the
done. We'll be
booster
ready
shot
to fund
information
vaccines
for
if and when
18
they
to
do.
49-year-olds. Is that
We're all
right?
ready. We are also ready with antiviral treatments. If you get COVID-19, the Pfizer pill reduces your chances of ending up in the hospital by 90%. I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world has.
Not me, dude. I've done a
Pfizer's
lot of
working
pills in my
overtime to
day.
get us 1 million pills this month and more than double that
All right,
next
that's a
month.
little more than I did.
And now we're launching the Test to Treat initiative. so people can get tested at a pharmacy, and if they prove positive, receive the antiviral pills on the spot at no cost.
Whoa. You mean like Florida was doing with Regeneron?
If you're
and you took that away because you took it off the Emergency Act, you fuck.
or have some other vulnerability, we have treatments and free high-quality masks. We're leaving no one behind or ignoring anyone's needs.
Except those we left behind in Afghanistan. Our bad.
We've made hundreds of millions of tests available, and you can order them for free to your doorstep.
And they're all faulty, and they all tell you got COVID, man.
Free tests tonight. I'm announcing you can order another group of tests. Go to covidtest.gov starting next week, and you can get more tests.
Thank God.
Second,
that's all. I was.
Prepare for
new
variants. Great. Over the past, we've gotten much better at detecting new variants. If necessary, we'll be able to develop new vaccines within 100 days instead
I hate this
maybe
man
months or years.
so much.
And if Congress provides the funds we need, we'll have new stockpiles of tests, masks, pills ready if needed. I can't promise a new variant won't come, but I can promise you we'll do everything within our power to be ready.
No comment.
Third.
Oh, COVID. That's the new variant right there. It's coming. That was awesome. He's talking about COVID, and he coughed. That's fantastic.
We need.
It wasn't COVID, man.
It's time for America to get back to work and fill our great downtowns again with people. People working from home can feel safe and begin to return to their offices. We're doing that here in the federal government. The vast majority of federal workers will once again work in person. Our schools are open. Let's keep it that way. Our kids need to be in school.
What's up, Rick Ozzie? How you doing? And Brand Liar. Hope I said that right there, Brand Liar. Remember, Stuck in the Middle. We'll be live here in just a few moments.
Adult Americans fully vaccinated, and hospitalizations down by 77%. Most Americans
because the new variant is essentially better than the vaccine. Bill Gates said it himself.
We achieved this because we provided free vaccines, treatments, tests, and masks. Of course, continuing this costs money, so I'll not surprise you. I'll be back to see you all.
So I'm going to have to ask you for something.
Congress. The vast majority of Americans have used these tools and may want again. We may need them again. So I expect Congress, and I hope you'll pass that quickly. Fourth, we'll continue vaccinating the world.
Oh,
we've sent 475 million vaccine doses.
Y'all seen the article about the vaccine? They want to make it spread like a virus. Maybe that's what they're going to do.
We won't stop.
Here come applesauce. Watch.
You can't build a wall high enough to keep out a vaccine. The vaccine can stop.
Hilarious. He used build a wall
of these diseases.
Applesauce.
You know, we've lost so much in COVID-19.
Your fault.
Time with one another.
Your party's fault.
Worst of all, the loss of life.
Don't you do that.
Let's use this moment to reset. So stop looking at COVID as a partisan dividing line.
This is literally all in the impact research letter. For the love of Jeebus.
Stop seeing each other as enemies.
Look at that letter.
Start seeing each other for who we are, fellow Americans. Look.
Y'all made people different who chose not to get vaccinated. Y'all, I don't understand. And the people who follow you foot in step, like, okay, you're bad people, you're good people. You people are fucking wild.
We can't change how divided we've been.
Your fault.
It's a long time in coming. But we can change how to move forward.
Liz, I'm not gonna lie, if I was a man of advanced age and I saw Nancy Pelosi at a bar.
I recently visited New York City Police Department.
I don't know why I said that. Sorry, my mouth was in the gutter.
And his partner,
I think it's every time she stands up, you know. So my bad. I don't mean to talk bad about Pelosi. I do, but not women.
Officer Moore was 27 years old. Officer Rivera was 22 years old. Both Dominican Americans who grew up in the same streets that they later chose to patrol as police officers.
He said reset, Rick. Indeed, he did.
And I told them that we were forever in debt for their sacrifices and will carry on their mission to restore the trust and safety of every community deserves. Like some of you that have been around for a while, I've worked with you on these issues for a long time. I know what works investigating crime prevention and community policing, cops who walk the beat, who know the neighborhood, and who can restore trust and safety. Let's not abandon our streets or choose between safety and equal justice. Let's come together and protect our communities, restore trust, and hold law enforcement accountable. That's why the Justice Department has required body cameras, banned chokeholds, and restricted no-knock warrants for its officers. That's why the American Rescue Plan...
I'm kind of cool with the no-knock warrants. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
$350 billion that cities, states, and counties can use to hire more police.
I'm looking for yes-knock warrants, that's all. Here come applesauce.
Proven strategies like community violence interruption, trusted messengers, breaking the cycle of violence and trauma, and giving young people some hope. We should all agree the answer is not to defund the police, it's to fund the police. Fund them. Fund them. Fund them with resources and training. Resources and training they need to protect our communities. I ask Democrats and Republicans alike to pass my budget and keep our neighborhoods safe. And we'll do everything in my power to crack down on gun trafficking of ghost guns that you can buy online, assemble at home, no serial numbers, can't be traced. I ask Congress to pass proven measures to reduce gun violence. Pass universal background checks. Why should anyone on the terrorist list be able to purchase a weapon? Why? Why? And folks,
maybe your definition of terrorist is more inclusive.
High-capacity magazines hold up 100 rounds. You think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests? Look, repeal the liability shield that makes gun manufacturers the only industry in America that can't be sued. The only one. Imagine had we done that with the tobacco manufacturers. These laws don't infringe on the Second Amendment. They save lives. The most fundamental right in America is the right to vote and have it counted. And look, it's under assault.
Don't you be talking about votes there,
state,
buddy.
Laws have been passed. Not only to suppress the vote, we've been there before, but to subvert the entire election. We can't let this happen. Tonight I call on the Senate to pass the Freedom to Vote
gas.
Act, pass the John Lewis Act, Voting Rights Act. And while you're at it, pass the Disclose Act so Americans know who's funding our election. Look,
applesauce.
Tonight, I like to honor someone who dedicated his life to serve this country. Justice Breyer, an Army veteran, constitutional scholar, retiring Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Justice Breyer, thank you for your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean it.
Justice Richard Pryor.
Get up, stand, let them see you.
Applesauce. Oh, he can't stand up, man. You just made an old man stand up who cannot. You made him look like a fool.
And we all know,
applesauce.
No matter what your ideology,
Boom.
we all know one of the most serious constitutional responsibility a president has.
That guy makes Joe Biden look like a stunning young man.
Supreme Court.
She just did the blowjob signal.
4 days ago,
I love watching her in the side there. She's great.
Circuit Court of Appeals.
She steals the show.
Ketanji Brown Jackson, one of our nation's top legal minds, who continue in Justice Breyer's legacy of excellence. A former top litigator in private practice, a former federal public defender, from a family of public school educators and police officers. She's a consensus builder. Since she's been nominated, she's received a broad range of support.
Because she's a broad, man.
Fraternal Order of Police and former judges supported by Democrats and
Not
Republicans.
gonna lie, I'm getting bored of this.
Folks,
he's losing me.
if we're to advance liberty and justice, we need to secure our border and fix the immigration system.
Ooh, he swallowed hard there because he was about to say something about securing our border. Yet when Russia tries to secure their border, Eli says he was the Russians had attacked
As you might
him,
guess, I think
and he is held out in his stock room, so he's
At our
running a little
border,
behind.
We've installed new technology like cutting-edge scanners to better detect drug smuggling. We've set up joint patrols with Mexico and Guatemala to catch more human traffickers. We're putting in place dedicated immigration judges in a significant larger number so families fleeing persecution and violence can have their cases heard faster, and those who don't legitimately hear can be sent back. We're screening, we're securing commitments and supporting partners in South and Central America to host more refugees and secure their own borders. We can do all this while keeping lit the torch of liberty that has led a generation of immigrants to this land, my forebears and many of yours. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those with temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Revise our laws so businesses have workers they need and families don't wait decades to reunite. It's not only the right thing to do, it's economically smart thing to do. That's why the immigration reform is supported by everyone from labor unions to religious leaders to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Let's get it done once and for all.
Yeah.
Folks.
Oh, applesauce and standing up again.
Advancing liberty and justice also requires protecting the rights of women. The constitutional right affirmed by Roe v. Wade
and men that are now women,
is under attack as never before. If you want to go forward, not backwards, we must protect access to health care, preserve a woman's right to choose, and continue to advance maternal health care for all Americans. And folks,
how's this guy going so long, man?
LGBTQ plus Americans, let's finally get the Bipartisan Equality Act to my desk. The onslaught of state laws targeting transgender Americans and their families, it's simply wrong. And I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself.
I'll have your back. I'm going to stay a little bit away. Ain't going to have your front because I don't know what's going on down there. But from the back, we're all gravy. Y'all look the same.
As I've just demonstrated, while it often appears we do not agree, and that we do agree on a lot more things than we acknowledge.
That's right.
I signed 80 bipartisan bills into law last year. From preventing government shutdowns.
We had one Republican on there as
Americans
bipartisan.
Still too common hate crimes, to reforming military justice, and will soon be strengthening the Violence Against Women Act that I first wrote 3 decades ago. And it's important. It's important for us to show the nation we can come together and do big things. So tonight I'm offering a unity agenda for the nation. 4 big things we can do together, in my view. First, beat the opioid epidemic. There's so much we can do.
Same company that's making your vaccines.
Increase funding for prevention.
We got to come back on you now.
Harm reduction and recovery. Get rid of outdated rules and stop doctors that stop doctors from prescribing treatments. Stop the flow of illicit drugs by working with state and local law enforcement to go after the traffickers. And if you're suffering from addiction, you should know you're not alone. I believe in recovery, and I celebrate the 23 million Americans in recovery. Second,
how do they know that number when it's all anonymous?
Mental health, especially among our children whose lives and education have been turned upside down. The American Rescue Plan gave schools money to hire teachers and help students make up for lost learning. I urge every parent to make sure your school does just that. They have the money. We can all play a part. Sign up to be a tutor or a mentor. Children were also struggling before the pandemic, bullying, violence, trauma, and the harms of social media.
And suicide went up during the pandemic.
Haugen,
because I'm a piece of shit,
has shown we must hold social media platforms accountable for the national experiment they're conducting on our children for profit.
Nancy Pelosi must have some money in that somehow. She stood up real fast. Who's that? Why are they showing her?
Thank you. Thank you for the courage you showed.
Who the hell is that? Applesauce.
It's time to strengthen privacy protections, ban targeted advertising to children, demand tech companies stop collecting personal data on our children, and let's get all Americans the mental health services they need. More people can turn for help and full parity between physical and mental health care if we treat it that
Full
way in our
parity?
insurance. Look, the third piece of that agenda is support our veterans. Veterans are the backbone and the spine of this country. They're the best of us. I've always believed that we have a sacred obligation to equip those we send to war and care for those in their family when they come home. My administration is providing assistance in job training, housing, and now helping lower-income veterans get VA care debt-free. And our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan have faced many dangers, one being stationed at bases breathing in toxic smoke from burn pits. Many of you have been there. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 40 times. These burn pits that incinerate waste, the waste of war, medical and hazardous material, jet fuel, and so much more. And they come home, many of the world's fittest and best trained warriors in the world. Never the same. Headaches, numbness, dizziness. A cancer that would put them in a flag-draped coffin. I know. One of those soldiers was my son, Major Bo Biden. I don't know for sure if the burn pit that he lived near, that his hooch was near in Iraq and earlier than that in Kosovo, is the cause of his brain cancer, the disease of so many other troops. But I am committed to find out everything we can, committed to military families like Danielle Robinson from Ohio, the widow of Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson. He was born a soldier, Army National Guard, combat medic in Kosovo and Iraq, stationed near Baghdad, just yards from burn pits the size of football fields. Danielle is here with us tonight. They love going to Ohio State football games.
There was that Ohio. Oh, hey, get out of my face. Gone.
And he loved building Legos with their daughter. But cancer from prolonged exposure to burn pits ravaged Heath's lungs.
Technolificer, exactly. He's campaigning. He's not addressing. Yes, sir.
He didn't know how to stop.
They spent $3 billion getting this speech written. Indubitably.
She found purpose to demand that we do better. Tonight, Danielle, we are going to do better. The VA is pioneering new ways of linking toxic exposure to disease, already helping more veterans get benefits. And
don't know why
tonight,
it says that.
I'm announcing we're expanding eligibility to veterans suffering from 9 respiratory cancers. I'm also calling on Congress to pass a law to make sure veterans devastated by toxic exposure in Iraq and Afghanistan finally get the benefits and the comprehensive health care they deserve.
I mean, it's just all words. It's, I want to do good for people. It's amazing. He's so nice. And then when the bill goes to Congress, like, oh, we ain't passing this though.
As we know it. This is personal.
My son died of brain cancer. He also had no balls. No, Bo was a war guy, right? Bo was probably legit. Everyone else at the Bidens, y'all piss off. Jill, I'm telling you, I was a man of advanced age.
So many of you have lost.
Saw Jill at a bar. What's going on, Jill?
Wife, son, daughter, mom, dad. Cancer is the #2 cause of death in America, second only to heart disease.
What about opioids?
Last month, I announced the plan to supercharge the cancer moonshot that President Obama asked me to lead 6 years ago. Our goal is to cut cancer death rates by at least 50% over the next 25
I
years.
just want to
can
cut
do better
cancer,
than that.
man. Just right
Turn
now.
cancers from death sentences into treatable diseases. More support for patients and their families. To get there, I call on Congress to fund what I call ARPA H.
I ain't no
Advanced-
rocket science, but don't you got to
advanced
call on
research
doctors to make things
Projects
happen?
Agency for Health. Patterned after DARPA and the Defense Department. Projects that led in DARPA to the internet, GPS.
Yo,
and so
mad
much more
props
to
to
make
the
our
lady
forces
dancing on the
more
right side of the
safer
screen
and be
because
able
she
to
she
wage
has
more
not stopped dancing this
clarity.
whole time.
ARPA will
I ain't
have
never
a
even seen
single
these
purpose
moves for, so
to drive breakthroughs in
pretty
cancer,
cool. I like that one. That one's
Alzheimer's
cool.
and diabetes, and more. A unity agenda for the nation. We can do these things. It's within our power, and I don't see a partisan edge to any one of those four things. My fellow Americans, tonight
My fellow Americans.
we've gathered in this sacred space,
My fellow Americans.
a citadel of democracy, in this Capitol. Generation after generation of Americans have debated great questions amid great strife and have done great things. We fought for freedom, expanded liberty, debated totalitarianism and terror. We built the strongest, freest, and most prosperous nation the world has ever known. Now is the hour, our moment of responsibility, our test of resolve and conscience, of history itself. It is in this moment that our character of this generation is formed. Our purpose is found. Our
In
future
war.
is forged.
Because we're doing war stuff.
Well, I know this nation. We'll meet the test, protect freedom and liberty, expand fairness and opportunity.
Sounds like it's wrapping up.
We will save democracy. As hard as those times have been, I'm more optimistic about America today than I've been my whole life because I see the future that's within our grasp, because I know there's simply nothing beyond our capacity.
Ooh.
We're the only nation on earth that has always turned every crisis we've faced into an opportunity. The only nation that can be defined by a single word.
His
possibility.
words. Every crisis
So on
we
this
face, we
night,
make an
Our
opportunity.
245th year as a nation.
Meaning you will use a crisis and maybe manipulate a crisis to your advantage and use it as an
The
opportunity.
State of the
He
Union
said
is
that.
strong because you, the American people, are strong. We are
Applesauce.
stronger today. We are stronger today than we were a year ago.
I don't know about all that.
And we'll be stronger a year from now than we are today.
And especially in 2024.
To meet and overcome the challenges of our time. And we will, as one
Oh,
people, one America.
he got choked
the
up.
United States of America.
Whoa, this is really
God bless you all,
Hitler-esque.
and may God protect our troops. Thank you. Go get him.
Stop talking. Ugh. I knew it was coming to an end. Wow. I mean, how do y'all feel about what you just witnessed with the State of Union? How do you feel about there? He wasn't lying there. He never put a crisis to waste. I mean, Steve, honestly, that is a very observant, and that's exactly what I was saying. They just kind of said the quiet part out loud. They saw a crisis, COVID, and they didn't let it go to waste. And man, there you go. How do y'all feel about what just happened? Let us know in the comments below. And hopefully we got Stuck at Night coming on in just a little bit. Man. Kinda. Yeah, go get him. Yeah, wait, exactly. Go get who? Who we going to get? It's very true, Brandon. I don't know how to say that last part, but goddamn, very true, Brandon. Man, oh man. About time you shut his damn mouth with nothing but lies coming out of that shat hole. Yeah, 100%. There you go. That was the State of the Union, Stuck at the Union. The boys were nice enough to let BUBBA B host for a little bit. So, well, Surprised, not surprised. I'm surprised it went that long, honestly. I'm surprised this old Tales from the Crypt dude went a solid hour, but he did. He made that happen. I think tomorrow we will see that clip being recirculated when he says the quiet part out loud about never letting a good crisis go to waste. Same thing can be said, and I'll leave you with this. There's a crisis going on in Ukraine. There's some shit going on with other countries that maybe America has no business in, especially if we're going to send our boys over there. But there's a crisis nonetheless, and we can't let that go to waste. I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this State of the Union, Stuck of the Union thingamajig. I thought we were going to have a little more fun with it, but, it got a little too invested in it. My bad, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. My name is Bubba B, and we'll see y'all later. Appreciate it.